Welcome, my name is Aaron, an instructor with Native Christians, and it is my pleasure to guide you through the course, The Bible, The Chosen Nation. Each lesson is divided into two sections. First, you will watch the video introduction for the lesson as you are doing right now. I will introduce the Bible story or passages and explain how the Bible story applies to your life. Second, you will join a Native Christians instructor in the live online class. In the live class, you and your classmates will use the TELL method, T for think, E for evaluate, L for learn, and L for lead, to learn the Bible lesson more fully and learn how to share it with others. In this course, The Chosen Nation, we will study important events in the Old Testament, beginning with the exodus of God's people from Egypt and ending with the construction of the temple in Jerusalem. In Lesson 1, we look at Moses, a faithful leader of God's people. God chose Moses to lead his people in worship and to bring his people back to the land he had promised to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Moses was an Israelite born in Egypt. As a baby, Moses was placed in the Nile River to hide him, and then he was found and taken out of the waters by the daughter of the Egyptian Pharaoh, that is their ruler. After spending 40 years in Pharaoh's palace, Moses attempted to defend his people, the Israelites, but he murdered an Egyptian in the process. Guilty of murder, he had to leave Egypt. He lived in the land of Midian and herded sheep for 40 years. At the time of this story, Moses is 80 years old. Think about this. Imagine you are Moses, looking back at the past 40 years of your life. Away from Egypt, would it seem like a successful life? A life with great purpose? A life fitting for someone who grew up in Pharaoh's palace? Now think about your own life. Have you ever felt that your life lacks a purpose? Are there more failures than achievements? Have you felt far away from God? If so, understanding God's plan for Moses will also help you. Let's learn about the purpose and plan for Moses' life from the book of Exodus and how it applies to our lives today.
During that long period, the king of Egypt died. The Israelites groaned in their slavery and cried out, and their cry for help because of their slavery went up to God. God heard their groaning, and he remembered his covenant with Abraham, with Isaac, and with Jacob. So God looked on the Israelites and was concerned about them. Now Moses was tending the flock of Jethro, his father-in-law, the priest of Midian, and he led the flock to the far side of the wilderness and came to Horeb, the mountain of God. There, the angel of the Lord appeared to him in flames of fire from within a bush. Moses saw that though the bush was on fire, it did not burn up. So Moses thought, I will go over and see this strange sight, why the bush does not burn up. When the Lord saw that he had gone over to look, God called to him from within the bush, Moses, Moses. And Moses said, Here I am. Do not come any closer, God said. Take off your sandals, for the place where you are standing is holy ground. Then he said, I am the God of your father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. At this, Moses hid his face because he was afraid to look at God. The Lord said, I have indeed seen the misery of my people in Egypt. I have heard them crying out because of their slave drivers, and I am concerned about their suffering. So I have come down to rescue them from the hand of the Egyptians and to bring them up out of that land into a good and spacious land, a land flowing with milk and honey, the home of the Canaanites, Hittites, Amorites, Perizzites, Hivites, and Jebusites. And now the cry of the Israelites has reached me, and I have seen the way the Egyptians are oppressing them. So now, go. I am sending you to Pharaoh to bring my people, the Israelites, out of Egypt. But Moses said to God, Who am I that I should go to Pharaoh and bring the Israelites out of Egypt? And God said, I will be with you, and this will be the sign to you that it is I who have sent you. When you have brought the people out of Egypt, you will worship God on this mountain." Moses said to God, "Suppose I go to the Israelites and say to them, 'The God of your fathers has sent me to you,' and they ask me, 'What is his name?' Then what shall I tell them?" God said to Moses, "I am who I am. This is what you are to say to the Israelites. 'I am has sent me to you.'" God also said to Moses, "Say to the Israelites, 'The Lord, the God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, has sent me to you. This is my name forever, the name you shall call me from generation to generation. Go, assemble the elders of Israel and say to them, 'The Lord, the God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, appeared to me and said, I have watched over you and have seen what has been done to you in Egypt. And I have promised to bring you up out of your misery in Egypt into the land of the Canaanites, Hittites, Amorites, Perizzites, Hivites, and Jebusites, a land flowing with milk and honey. The elders of Israel will listen to you. Then you and the elders are to go to the king of Egypt and say to him, 'The Lord, the God of the Hebrews, has met with us. Let us take a 3-day journey into the wilderness to offer sacrifices to the Lord our God.' But I know that the king of Egypt will not let you go unless a mighty hand compels him. So I will stretch out my hand and strike the Egyptians with all the wonders that I will perform among them. After that, he will let you go."
God called Moses to deliver his people from slavery in Egypt. Moses had doubts, but God promised to help him. He told Moses exactly what he was to do and the words to speak. Moses needed to trust God's help for leading his people to the promised land. Moses is not the only person God has asked to carry out his plans. God has given each one of us the task of sharing the saving news of Jesus with others. We too have doubts and make excuses. We say, "I can't do that. Someone else should," or we trust solely in our own skills and talents and not in God. Like Moses, we need to depend on God's strength and direction. We can learn from the way God took care of Moses and the children of Israel. God promised to free his people from Egyptian slavery, and he did. God did not leave his people. He lovingly guided them through the desert to their new home in Israel. God was always near. He is near to you as well. Just as God kept his promises to Moses, God keeps his promises to us today. Sometimes God's help seems far away. Troubles and problems surround us in times of trials. God does not leave us or forget us. He uses everything for our good. As Romans chapter 8, verse 28 tells us, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose." We can learn from hard times. God can turn all situations into blessings. What a privilege to belong to God. Friends, get ready for the live class of Lesson 1 at the day and time that has been scheduled. You will learn to lead a Bible study group of your own using the TEL method. I am Aaron. I trust that the same God that kept his promise to Moses will also keep his promise to you. May God bless your continued study.